All right, today what we're talking about is the building, and that's what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be talking about what we're doing for our walls. We're going to be talking about electrical. We're going to be talking insulation, because these type of steel buildings can be a real problem for being able to put a wall system up, because you're going to lose walls if you're going to do a 2x4 system. So we're going to talk about that today.
Oh, you decided to join us.
As you can see, we don't have electricity in here yet.
I've got my suntan lamp. It's blinding me anytime I look over.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's an issue. But that's what we're talking about today, is where we're at and what's going on. We're going to show what we did with the walls on this type of building. It's different with everything, but when you get one of these with the 5-foot centers and all that.
A little bit different.
If I had it to do over again, if there was a way to have them do it, I probably would have done the walls in here on a 4-foot center. But I don't know that they can do that. They may not be able to. 4-foot center would have been better, because that's a standard for building supplies, which is why you see the wall system that we have up back here. All right, so what we did is we put up a standard 24-inch center stud wall using 2x4s cut in half and set up for that wall. And the reason we did that is because that will then give us the depth we need to basically be like a regular 2x4 wall. The nice thing is that vertically everything is set up on 4-foot centers. The wall sections are 4-foot centers. But I didn't want to bore holes in the metal.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do that, so we decided to go ahead and pull that out.
Yep.
And so that's setting us up to be able to do our electrical like they would in a standard construction. The nice thing is because it's on 5-foot centers and none of the centers run right where the boards
Studs
are at.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about going through anything. We will have to go vertically through the stuff to go up into the ceiling to get to the lights that we're going to be putting in.
Yep.
Which I'll talk about that in just a second, but everything is now set up so that we can use what I'm going to talk about next, which is our insulation package. Now, insulation in a building like this, you can hear the reverberation, and we're not going to be able to get rid of that for a little while yet, but insulation will help, and sheetrock will help. It'll knock some of the sound around so it's not as echoey as it is right now. But what we did is we went with a place called LTH Steel to get our insulation. Now, the reason I did that is because he and I have looked at this, and the insulation packages that are available is like what?
It's like R7 on the stock buildings.
Yeah, I mean, if you get one of these buildings in R7, that's nothing.
No, especially not in 110 degree heat, direct sunlight.
You're looking at it with R7, it's basically like a piece of paper.
Yeah, you might as well just hold a towel above you. That's about as good as it's going to get.
What we went with was the stuff from LTH Steel. Now, the stuff that they offer is what you would use in the larger
steel I-beam
buildings, and it's what they would put on the walls. But even then, they have crush where they put the walls to those wall studs or whatever you call them. I'm not a builder. We use that, but they make it in any width that you need. So if we had done a 16-inch stud center wall in here on this, they could have given us insulation to fit there, and it is an R13 insulation. I could have gone even higher than that. We could have gone with an even thicker insulation, but the problem is you're crushing it into the wall, and that's going to create some problems. So LTH Steel offers the 5-foot widths that we're going to be using in the ceiling areas with banding. We'll show you that installation separately because it is a little bit different than what you might think about doing. But my point in all this is, in looking at it, my decision was that we really didn't want to go with a very thin insulation. We wanted to go with a thicker insulation to give us more holding power for our AC in this place, because we have a very big building with a very high ceiling. So the insulation is an R13. It works very well for the wall system that we've put up. The one mistake I made was I used a screw system that says it's for metal.
No.
And it does work, but you have to pre-drill. So in other words, you have to use a drill motor and then put the Tech screw in. And I probably could have done a straight sheet metal screw, but most of those are either a button head or a hex head. These are a Phillips, well, they're actually a Torx bit, but they go straight into the wood. They hold the wood, and they also hold the wood to the metal. There's another one that you can get. Is a decking screw that you use for steel trailers. Like if you're putting a wood deck in a steel trailer, that does the same thing. But I felt like these would work just as well, and they were less expensive. So it ended up costing me more time but less money.
It's normally the way of using something that costs less.
It's like we're looking at sound deadening packages. If you guys want to see a video on sound deadening, let me know. I'll put something in, put something down there in the comments. Let me say, hey, we want you to do something on sound deadening, because right now, as you can hear, there's a lot of vibration from noise because it's just hitting the metal and bouncing around. All right, so what I'm going to talk about now is the electrical package that we're putting in this building. We're running service underground from the power pole over to Studio A, and then over here to Studio B on the back wall, and we've got part of that set up. One thing I will tell you that is an issue when you're doing one of these type of steel buildings is mounting your service box. The service box has to be mounted at a certain height, and conveniently, the purlins on the wall are right in the middle of it. Go big or go home. So we had to go in and cut the purlin, which I didn't want to have to do, but in order for this thing to pass code,
Gotta happen.
and of course, if you live out where he lives, you can basically put it up there with baling wire and duct tape, and it'll be fine.
What's circuit breaker box?
Just bundle the wires.
Those wire nuts. When you want to turn the lights off, you just unscrew
it. It's a wonder half of Aiken County just doesn't burn to the ground. And anyway, so you have to mount it in a certain location. You want your wall outlets mounted to whatever is code in your area. Usually it's about 16 inches off the floor, 12 to 16 inches. Just depends on the area code. Now what our electrician wanted us to do was to go ahead and get the insulation on the walls so that he can put the wire on the wood side and outside of the insulation. Now what I'm showing you is kind of what he's planning on doing. This is just a piece of Romex I had laying around, so that you don't have the wire sitting against the metal, which is going to cause the wire to degrade if you're using Romex. Now you can use a lot of other products that are outdoor rated that would probably hold up better in those circumstances if you wanted to put it up against the metal. But the way we're constructing the building with the walls that we're using, this is a really good way to go because it's going to keep your wire in good condition. And really, other than that, we're going to be doing 9 8-foot lights in the ceiling. The electrician said, well, you ought to be able to do brain surgery with that much light. I'm hoping we can. I'm a little nervous because Studio A's lighting is okay. It's not great. It's not what I had hoped that an 8-foot LED would do. And I think some of that boils down to some LED light packages are not as, they don't throw as much light to me, it seems, as the fluorescents do.
Yeah.
The fluorescents in the shop over at Ridgemont, I mean, you can come out there and you almost need a sunglasses.
But even there, there was some lighting issues.
There were places where it was weak in certain corners and stuff, and I don't know that we're not going to, we'll probably have those lights up there and then do plug-in lights on the walls if we want to do stuff. Keep in mind, folks, that this is not just going to be a studio space for us. I am planning on starting to do some outside work with folks that I know that do different types of things where they're doing talking head videos for financial and things like that. So we are going to be using this space for other things so that we can increase our revenue stream so that I can retire before I'm 95.
And lighting in general is something that you always want to invest in. You will never be mad that you have too much light.
You can always unplug a bulb.
Yes.
It's a lot harder to go back in and add it to it.
I've worked in several shops where the lighting was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And you have to use flashlights for everything. You raise a hood, you can't see the engine because there's no light.
And that was a good thing about Ridgemont. We had really adequate lighting in there. We had a good lighting pack. And we may even go in and add more lights on the beams that are across, the angle beams that are in here as well. So adequate lighting, adequate power. I went underground with our power on this. And at the very end of all of this, we'll do one video that talks about the financial cost of putting this building up, total, everything that we did. But we went and buried the cable, and in the burial part of it, we have about $550 in the burial. We have a good friend of ours that brought his track hoe in here, and he pulled a 30-inch deep line from the power pole to the shop, to Studio A, which is where our cutoff box is going to be, which is still, by the way, on national back order.
Thanks, COVID.
So really, one of the reasons we don't have electricity in here is because we don't have electricity on Studio A because we can't get the box that we need to put up. sometimes these things are an issue, and there's another way around it, but that part is also on national back order because everybody that was going to do the other box
ordered that
one instead. So you can do it where you have a cutoff on the meter head itself, and then have an internal box for your fuses inside the breakers. I'm sorry, not fuses, automotive. For the breakers inside the building, but the breaker box with the handle is on back order. If you know how to get the other one that has the panel box with the breakers on it, and you've got one like you're not using today, email me at the email address below. I'll be your friend. We're going to have to discuss which one we can use because apparently Dominion has
special
rules. Yeah, they have that stuff they have to do. I will say on the side of our electrical group here locally, Dominion was awesome. They provided us the wire, and with the cost of wire right now,
yeah,
I don't even want to think about that.
That's a large investment.
That's a large investment on Dominion's part to bring the wire to us. Used to, they would dig the ditch, but a lot of municipalities and power companies aren't doing that now because
it's a liability.
It's a liability. We pulled up stuff that was buried that they couldn't feel with the wand. They wanded everything, and we were pulling old phone wire and pipe and all kind of crap up out of the ground.
The best I found was an engine block.
I would have loved to have found an engine block with that track code. That would have been funny.
Or I think it was like a 2.2 GM or something. It looked like it had been buried for probably 10 years.
Maybe I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to bury it. All right, now the last thing I'm going to talk about is our garage doors. We don't have them. And the garage door, like everything else, this is all
it's deadpan. We don't have them.
The problem with it is that they're on
back order.
And they are 4 months out. I am not waiting 4 months. No. The guy says that he can get us roll doors that can be here in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I prefer roll doors anyway.
And you were talking about roll doors from the beginning. My only problem was the amount of air intrusion and wind noise problems we had with the one at Ridgemont. We had a roll door and we had 2 regular garage doors, and that roll door would a lot of time rattle in the wind.
Yep.
He assures me that it won't be a problem, and I assured myself that it won't be a problem because I'm not waiting 4 months for a regular garage door that'll fit these 2 openings.
Just take a block of wood and shove it in the track.
Because that's an issue, and I mean, we will lose a little bit of insulation power because the regular standard garage door has a better insulation. It's a thicker insulation, but you're still not that much. We have even talked about off camera possibly taking and getting the lizard skin out and spraying the door with lizard skin just to see if it works. Yeah. I mean, we'd go in and paint it white so it matches the inside of the building, but you know, I'm kind of
if that works, that'd be kind of an interesting product to have.
It really would, because lizard skin's good stuff on the cars. I mean, we've tried it acoustically. They have a sound deadening material and they have a heat control material.
Yep.
You spray both of those on the 2 doors and we could see if that's going to be an issue. Some of the plans we have for things to do for studio work in here, like we were talking about before, is to have barn doors that we can close off on the inside as a wall. So we'll have a 10-foot wall section that'll roll in front of that door to hide it as a garage door to make it a quote-unquote wall for video production.
Just have a regular garage door print on that piece of wall instead of the roll door.
Welcome to Monty Python. Spend $800 having some guy come in and paint a wall that looks like a garage door.
To hide the garage door.
Brilliant! Rewrite!
But this is a picture of a $4,000 door.
I didn't want to know how much those doors were going to cost me. I had one quote for those doors for like $4,000, and they were at the same price level and they were 4 months out.
Yep.
So
everything's on back order.
It's a national back order. I mean, I get it. You know, there's a lot of places having trouble getting people into work.
Yes.
I guess that's really it. Those are the things I really want to discuss. I guess I can talk about the water intrusion problem. Because we have a lift that we want to take and roll outside, it has rained a bunch here lately, and we're getting a lot of water run inside the building. So again, I think the garage doors will make a difference with that. Yes. But the product that we got from Legacy is working really, really well. I like it. It's still a good deal. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, we've definitely proven whether or not the Legacy product works.
No, very hydroscopic. If you had a leaf blower, it'd blow just about everything.
You can blow it out with a leaf blower.
Yeah.
We're going to get a squeegee for any intrusions that we have down the road. It's just a safety issue for the water, this much water being in here because of all the cords and stuff that you have to use for doing what we do.
Yes.
Speaking of doing what we do, Join us on our Patreon group. At the $10 a month level, you get monthly meetings with me on Zoom with a bunch of other people. We do tech Q&A. It's a lot of fun. We never have had anybody say, this is stupid, I'm not doing this. Once they join in and become part of that part of the Patreon thing, they really love it. We got other things coming too. We do tech videos theoretically. Andrew and I have absolutely sucked in the last 2 months because of this building. I was gonna say something nasty, but I like the building. So join us on there for that. You get mentions if you're at the $10 a month level and higher, because we do have guys that are contributing more money per month than that. And we have 3 different tiers for that. We have Super Nitro, Nitro, and Race Gas. Race Gas guys are the ones that are contributing $10 a month. The Nitro guys are contributing more than that, and Super Nitro guy, one guy, is contributing a lot more than that. I'm just going to say that. I'm not trying to get you to contribute more. I'm just saying those are the tiers that they have created because of the amount of money they're spending. I didn't even realize that. I mean, I did, but I didn't see how many that we had that were doing that much more.
Got to get like a little special plaque.
Yeah, we're gonna do maybe a wall.
Yeah.
We got the Paul wall with this OSB, and maybe we'll put some plaques up on the wall for the guys that are contributing. But anyway, you guys see the credit roll right there. These are the guys that are actually putting their money where their mouth is and supporting us on Patreon. It's a really nice thing because it helps Andrew eat more than bread and water, because we're teaching film here, and in order to make money to eat, you have to make money.
He can now afford a box of Top Ramen.
He's getting the good stuff.
The chicken flavor.
Flavor. There is no chicken in it. It's just
the idea of chicken.
the whiff of an idea of chicken. And also subscribe to the channel. I don't know what good it does for us anymore, because Andrew informed me the other day that they are now no longer emailing people the fact that the videos are up.
Who checks email?
That's what YouTube said. So like 10% of the people were checking their emails. That probably was our guys.
Email is like gone the way of the USPS.
Well, I mean, there's still email. There's still email. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. I don't know what absolute good it does for you, because you still get notifications. Click the bell for notification. How they're notifying you, I don't know.
Look out for an owl on your window at night.
They have a little elf deliver you a day. Hey, the guys at Autorestomod put another video up.
Little Dobby comes out the fireplace, covered in grease.
Hey, bud! Little cigar in his mouth. You derail me more than any other human being
my
I've
job
ever
here.
met. That's the only job you have, is derailing and doing hard, manly work. All right, folks. I want you to do me a favor and go out and be kind to each other, love on each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time on
Autorestomod.
So I guess now we just have the thing of putting up 5 billion pounds of insulation.
Yay.
Hey, could be worse. We could have to put insulation
On the roof.
I'm not doing that. I got a guy. I got a guy, he's gonna do that. I'm not doing that. They call me crazy, but that's somebody else's job.
I don't like heights. I'm good.